Hi and welcome to Chat Central. Today we are in conversation with someone who's been addressed as New York Renaissance man. He's an actor, designer, fashion muse, style icon, and a storyteller. Possibly the most well-dressed man, and a brand under his name called House of Waris. Please welcome Waris Ahluwalia.
Hi.
Welcome, Waris.
Thank you.
Welcome to Vancouver.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about your collaboration with Indian Summer Festival.
Well, I'm excited to be here and meet them. I'm learning more and more about them as I'm here and seeing what an incredible impact they have on the city, right? To be able to share culture but not just share culture in sort of in a lecture kind of way, in a classroom kind of setting, but to integrate it into the city. And I've seen the festivals all over town, and to bring another culture into the city and to integrate it into the city, music and theater and literature and food, it's quite something. And I don't know if this exists in other places.
It's quite fascinating, you're right.
Yeah, so I'm quite honored to be here and a part of this movement. I think it's more than a festival. I think it's a movement that they're involved in.
Absolutely, it's an honor to have you. Now, last night you were a part of this conversation, what not to wear with Waris, and you brought some great topics on board. And one of them was how you've experimented with so many things in your life, and you've had so many careers. And conventionally, we're always told that pick something and then just go with it. And here you are, you've done so many things without literally having a background, and you've done exceptionally well, and you're so loved for whatever you do. So how does that make you feel?
Well, I'm still told to pick one thing. Just because that doesn't go away, no matter what. It's still, you should really pick one thing, and but why? In my mind, I have picked one thing, right? And so that's sort of what that's where I'm confused why people say just pick one thing. And I make things, I create, right? That's what I do, and the difference is the execution is different, but the origin of story, the origin of thought, where it comes from is the same place.
Absolutely.
So it the execution may be gold. The execution may be a film or a book or a story or on cashmere. Embroidery on cashmere or I'm making marble trays right now. I was commissioned to make some marble trays. I'm making marble trays in Udaipur right now. I was there 2 months ago visiting the craftsmen. So the execution, I'm not so hung up on the choice of the execution as much as other people are. I don't have time for that. It's just I think when you're busy doing, you're not quite worried about how is this going to be perceived.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter. I'm going to make beautiful marble trays. And does that make me a expert on marble? I don't need to be. I'm working with experts in marble. They handcrafted, so it's the execution is always going to be different.
Absolutely.
But the idea is the same, and so I always feel like I'm doing one thing, and I'm always confused by what people mean. I've chosen one thing.
Absolutely. So how's the Waris? Let's talk a little bit about that. You work with some great artisans all over the world, and it's such a unique concept because there's different artisans all over the world that come and make things for your brand. How is that?
Exhausting. Absolutely exhausting. It's hard enough to work with one craftsman, but then to work with craftsmen in over 20 countries, it's a logistical nightmare is what it is. But at the same time, it's a logistical nightmare that I've chosen, and it's a treat. Every day, that person that makes things by hand is more and more rare, right? We're moving so fast, and we have but never mind now in the 60s, the automation and this isn't something that's just happened now, but everything being machine made and everything being available en masse, everything being, you know, so this idea of being able to preserve, not as museum pieces or relics or gallery pieces, but actually usable pieces, you know, things that you can use in your home, in your life. This idea of craft existing, because that's my joy. Like, I don't need to bring more product into the world. The world has enough product. The world has enough jewelry. The world has enough trays or scarves or clothes or anything. There really is, you don't need me. Like, but for me, it's finding a place for these craftsmen to exchange in that dialogue today, right? In that consumerism dialogue, and for them to be a viable, not just like a cultural conversation, but a commerce conversation. So I'm involved in commerce with them. It's not just like we're purposely not. It's not like in a gallery. Like, I'm not showing their work in a gallery. I'm showing their work in a store where you go in and you buy this, because when you buy it, they can make two more, right? And they can create an existence for themselves doing what they love.
Absolutely. That's why it's so rare and precious.
Yeah, and so it's fast disappearing, and so that's what I love, is finding these craftsmen around the world.
Absolutely.
And whether it's a company that's been doing it for over 100 years, or if it's a guy that's, you know, in Sweden that's gone into leather goods after being a dancer, you know, and Tiger Claw, and, you know, it's finding them, and they're everywhere. The beauty of it, craftsmen exist everywhere. Right here in Vancouver, right here, you know, in your
everywhere.
And it's sort of and it's your responsibility as a consumer to seek those out. You have to decide as a consumer, as an individual, what life you want to lead.
Yeah.
And that was
what you want to promote and what you want to support. Yeah.
What life, you know, what life do you want to live? You know, it's like you have to decide what life you want. Who are you?
Yeah.
Right? And never mind the other people. It's like, who are you? What do you want? And for me, you know, it's about being a part of living in a world that's really connected in the sense of responsibility, but in a really fun way. I think of responsibility in a great fun way. It's like, you know, I like being connected to everything that I wear. You know, everything that I wear, I know, you know, this comes from a tailor that I know in New York, right on Christopher Street. You know, my shoes come from, you know, this is Jay Muser, and then my shoes come from Esquivel, the shoe designer cobbler in California. They're handmade in California.
So you're really interested in the process and the depth of it.
This t-shirt's made by Philip Lim. He goes to the north of Thailand and works with women that are dyeing these t-shirts, and, you know, so I'm aware there's an aware, it pervades everything I do, right? It's not just interesting marketing talk. You know, it's not just a dialogue.
It's more about educating.
This is hand loomed in northern India. I know. I've met the guys, and, you know, like, so, you know, so that's the life that I've chosen to live and to live by, and to know who makes my things, and to live in that way. I think everyone can do it. It's really important. It's not a matter of I'm always conscious of anything that I say like this coming off as luxury or privilege or things like that. It's not about that. You can find at all cost levels, you know, people making things and trying things, and, you know, but it's just you have to seek it out.
Absolutely. When it comes about education too, now recently there was an incident where you were asked not to board a plane in Aeromexico, and what you demanded was not something personal. Well, it was, but you asked them for an apology, but which wasn't related to a personal thing. It was more for educating the staff and acquainting them with different religions and faiths. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, as you said, there was an incident in Mexico where I wasn't let on a plane, and you know, this has happened before. So it's you know. It's a shame they bore the brunt of, you know, of this response, you know, because it's not like they're the sole, you know, they're the only ones that, you know, but it happened to be them, you know, and it happened to be a person who wasn't trained properly, and it just so it's more than that. You know, so they happened to take the fall for this, and they didn't let me on the plane, and you know, but we had followed all the protocol, we had followed all the rules and all the, you know, and so I'm very well aware of what all those are, because I fly every, you know, I've been, you know, like yesterday I was in 4 different countries in the last 4 days.
It's really interesting. Even the little video that they showed last night was like that you made, it was like very simple yet very strong message. I like to travel. I travel to a lot of countries. I like to be respected. Yeah. You know, bringing back that smile. I deserve it.
Yeah, that's it. And they you know, in that, the problem is we're going to live in a world of more security, and there's nothing we can do about that. But it's how we approach it, right? Just because someone has, like, that's fine. And we're going to live in a world that you know, profiling is always going to be an issue. It's human nature, and you know, that's another conversation. But but if we're going to do that, then you can't make someone into a criminal when they're not. They're just because of your insecurities and your own fears. You're profiling someone.
It's very unfair.
You're putting your fears onto someone else, and so but they're not actually a criminal. Like they have to be tried in a court of law. Like, you know, they have to, you know. So there's you're creating this perception around them and the other, right? And that's what this festival is about as well, about breaking down those boundaries, and so that's what that conversation was. Like, that there is no other. There's only the same. We're exactly the same. It's like, and so ridiculous that this is what we're talking about in 2016, right? Like, really? Like, those words have to come out of my mouth? that we're all the same? Like, hasn't someone else covered this ground already? Like, couldn't we talk about something else? You know, enlightenment. You know, like, could we move on? But we'll never get to that stage, because we're stuck in this circle, right? Samsara. You know, we're stuck in this circular thinking. This circular. We've got to break out of that. But so they you know, didn't let me on the plane, and it just. I didn't realize it was going to take this long, and I didn't realize it was going to escalate to what it did. I thought it was just going to resolve within a few hours, and I was going to go home. And it just kept going, and you know, they were, unfortunately for them, slow to respond. And what that meant is that simply, you know, like, to speak in terms of, you know, something all the kids can understand is they just put it into a hashtag. You know? Like, fear is the opportunity to educate, and that's
that went viral, by the way.
Yeah, you know, but because that's all it was. It was just like, it's okay, you made a mistake. It's we all make mistakes. If I'm not, you know, I make mistakes constantly. You know, it's you know, whether in my work or in my personal relationships or things like that. But it's not that. It's like, okay, but then how are we going to fix it? And how are we going to move past this? And that was what I was focusing on. I wasn't trying to focus on the mistake that's made, or, you know, like, to continue her. Like, it's just like.
And you mentioned that it wasn't about the apology. It was about the future of educating and letting the staff know that this shouldn't happen again.
Yeah, it's like, oh, oops.
It's okay. It can be fixed.
Yeah, I mean, it's fixable. Like, it's like, you know, you did it to the wrong guy, or the right guy. You know, like, however you want to look at it. You know, because it's like, it's so, you know, because it did get the attention that it did. Yeah. You know, it's fixable. We can take care of this together, and that was the point, and I think they understood that.
Well, thank you so much, Waris, for sharing such wonderful insights about your life and your work with us.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll look forward to having you in Vancouver again.
Yeah, can't wait to come back.
Enjoy your time in Vancouver so far. Thank you. Thanks for watching Chat Central.